Very Young was a jazz organist who was known for going all modal on a Hammond B3 organ. He released 14 albums as a leader between 1960 and late 1970s. He has had more as a sideman, including a couple of albums that I've listened to and heard of and are going to feature on this list: Big Fun and Bitches Brew for Miles Davis. He died in 1978 of causes which apparently are unclear. Hi, my name's Dan. This was probably Larry Young's most famous album, but even so, it's still, I think, my first listen to it. And it's definitely a jazz album. And that goes without any kind of contradiction. So there are 6 tracks on here. There are 3 by Woody Shaw, who happens to also be the trumpeter on the album. There's 1 by Joe Henderson, who I've come across before, who's also playing sax on the album. 1 by Romberg, who I haven't heard of, and Hammerstein, who I have heard of, which is a song from an operetta. Obviously, well, not obviously, but on this album it's an instrumental. And the last track is Monk's Dream by Thelonious Monk. So occasionally I wonder to myself, I'm going through these 3,000 albums. There's lots and lots of tracks, therefore. There must be, around an average of 30,000 tracks or something, I reckon. And some of them, occasionally, I come across something that's another version of the same track. You get cover versions. And I do wonder what is the track with the most different versions, the most numbers of versions on it, on the list. And when I saw this, I wondered, actually, could it be Monk's Dream? But actually, I think it's probably not, because having done a quick search through, I think I can only find 3 versions of it. So I still wonder what might be the track with the most different versions of. Right, let's get into some description. This is definitely bookended jazz, by which I mean it's stuff where it does the tune, then it does some improvisation, then it finishes off with the tune again. The focus is on the organ, of course. There's a drummer, and there's the aforementioned sax and trumpet, who don't appear all the time. So Monk's Dream is mostly organ and drums. There's no bassist because you get the bass end in the organ. And in between the book endings, it wanders about in a typical jazz way. And I couldn't tell you if this is modal or bebop or what it is, because I don't know enough about jazz to be able to tell you this. So apparently some people think this is a genius album. I think it's okay for some background jazz. And that's because I'm not a jazz expert, so I am unable to identify the particular qualities of an album like this that make it genius. So I have to say also, I'm not a huge fan of this particular organ sound. It makes the whole thing sound a little bit on the easy listening side for me. One thing that is positive about this album is that it's a Rudy Van Gelder remaster, and I keep seeing these around. Or the version that I listened to was a Rudy Van Gelder remaster. Obviously, it wasn't when it first released. And I think his remasters are excellent, and this is no exception to that, in that they bring out a lot of clarity in the album without losing the kind of fundamental feel of the instruments and of the music. So that's good. It's a nice, clear album in that sense. So yeah, kind of fairly muted feelings from me. As always, I'd love to ask you to contribute your feelings on this album, whether it's love, hate, or indifference. Please do let me know through the comments box. And that's it from me for now.